Okay, welcome back to Quarantine Class with Mrs. Burgess. This is for my seniors, my English 4 kiddos, who are going to be working on something this week, the week of April 20th, due on Friday by midnight in my email box. Please don't be late. I really love it when you send things ahead of time, like on Tuesday or Wednesday, so it gives me a chance to grade, and I'm not spending my whole weekend grading because I do have a life. Okay, well, at least I have a life in the house. Okay. So you are going to be focusing on irony. Remember the three types of irony we had? We had verbal irony, which is when someone's being very sarcastic. They're saying words that they really don't mean. And you have to try to figure out what they mean because they're not being straight with you. That's me a lot of times because I'm from the Northeast, very sarcastic. We have situational irony, which is where like the fireman's house burns down, the cop gets pulled over and he gets a ticket, the marriage counselor gets a divorce. Things that you've got an unexplained and a coincidental ending that connects back to the person involved in the situation. And then, of course, my favorite is dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when you're reading a story or watching a movie and you know more than the protagonist or the characters in the story. How many times have you watched a haunted movie or a horror movie and you're just like, don't go in there, and they go in there? And you were shouting, you were trying to warn them, but that's dramatic irony. One movie that I think has an amazing sense of dramatic irony is one of my favorite films. It's called The Sixth Sense, filmed in 1999 in Philadelphia. In fact, here's the title. It stars Bruce Willis, and the director was M. Night Shyamalan. The guy is a gifted storyteller. M. Night Shyamalan is brilliant. And I'm telling you, talk about dramatic irony. You will not figure out what is going on to the very end. But if you do, I promise you that you know more than the poor protagonist played by Bruce Willis does throughout the entire film. So I like to say that I like to be dumb till the very end, and I usually am. I did not figure out anything properly until the very end. But then I realized that the entire film is based in dramatic irony. So if you're smarter than me, which most of you are, you'll figure out what's going on. And here's a little hint. Now, we're not really doing anything about symbolism in the story that we're going to read, which I'll reveal to you here in a second. But when you read your story, there's going to be some irony in there. And you'll know when you read it. It'll hit you. And that's one of the questions you're going to have to answer is what was ironic about the story. So there's a lot of symbolism, visual symbolism in the film The Sixth Sense. M. Night Shyamalan very carefully placed prominent red objects in certain scenes throughout the film. So you might see, and it'll be really obvious. So prominent means it really pops out. So perhaps you might see a red door, bright red door, or you might see a doorknob, or the man walks into the room wearing a bright red sweater when nothing else really is red. There might be some red objects, but they're not as prominent or popping forward as say the red object in the center of the room that you're seeing. So the question is, when you see a red object, what does that mean? Something's going on, and if you can figure it out, I'll be impressed. That's something that I learned about the film by watching an interview with M. Night Shyamalan. He thought it was too obvious, and he was trying to feed his viewers little clues. I didn't see a thing. Again, I enjoy being dumb till the end, so it's okay. If you can get a copy, or if you can find The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis, I really encourage you to watch it. Shoot me an email. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you figured it out. Tell me if you did see the dramatic irony as you were going along, and if the red meant anything to you. Did it help you figure it out? Otherwise, okay. So your assignment this week, my English 4s, you're going to be reading a short story called The Sniper. It's got a lot of wonderful imagery in it. It's written by an Irish author, and it's about war. It's about a sniper and something that he endures. Now, he intentionally doesn't give anybody a name, and he intentionally doesn't describe their faces or anything. He wants it to be very applicable to many situations. So when you analyze this and answer the questions, one of the questions you'll have to answer is about the dramatic, about the irony in the piece. So hopefully that's a good review of irony, and you'll remember what that means when you send me your answers. By the way, my favorite way to get answers is either through a Word doc or through Google Docs. Please give me editing rights if you send me a Google Doc, okay? I'm not supposed to touch my face because it's Corona. Uh-oh, busted. All right, one last thing, word of the week. I gotta give you a word of the week. And the word of the week is, ta-da, kibitz, to kibitz. It's a very annoying behavior, but it's specific to people who intrude on what you're trying to do by telling you what to do. In other words, you're trying to play Monopoly, or you're playing chess, or you're playing a game, and someone's telling you how to play, and they're not involved in the game directly. You're like, stop kibitzing. Or you're driving, and someone in the back seat's saying, hey, it'd be a lot faster if you went left, or you went this way or that way, or you forgot to stop here. Hey, stop kibitzing. Let me figure it out on my own. Or if someone's telling you what's going on in a film and they're spoiling, it's kind of like kibitzing. Kibitzing is a word, it's an English word now, it's adopted into the American dictionary, but it comes from Yiddish. Yiddish is a language primarily spoken by the older generations of the Jewish community, and of course I pick up a lot of that stuff from where I grew up in the Northeast in New Jersey, and kibitz was a part of my life. And so was schlep. If you schlepped yourself in, you were just dragging yourself around. If somebody was being a jerk, you would call him a putz, or if he was really stupid, that's male anatomy part, by the way. So, yeah, and maybe you might say something, there's so many expressions like capiche, do you understand? So there's a lot of words that we bring in from other languages that we don't even realize, and we pick them up, and so I wanted to share one of mine. Kibitz, don't do it, it's annoying. Okay, so I look forward to your responses in my email by Friday at midnight, and I especially look forward to them if they come a little early. That'd be awesome. If you have to send me answers in the email itself, that's fine. Just make sure you get your full name in there and the questions and the answers. Have a great week. Stay safe.